Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get you those key knowledge nuggets. Today, we're diving into something really fundamental, I think, to how we work. Cognitive dissonance. It's kind of that background hum, that tension that pushes us around, makes us justify things, even when, things don't quite line up. Our mission today, give you a clear, quick shortcut to really getting this core idea from psychology. We're pulling everything from our source, the mind's quest for harmony. Cognitive dissonance explained.
And it really is core. Leon Festinger, back in '57. This wasn't just some academic exercise. It's become one of the most influential concepts in modern psychology.
Sure.
Seriously impactful. It's really shifted how we understand why people do what they do, how they justify choices.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. What is cognitive dissonance exactly? At its heart, it's that mental discomfort, right? That tension when you've got two ideas or maybe a belief and an action that just don't fit together. Our source puts it pretty clearly. Cognitive dissonance is the feeling of discomfort resulting from holding two conflicting cognitions. So ideas, beliefs, values, even feelings. It's that ugh feeling when things clad in your head.
Precisely. And Festinger's big idea was, well, simple but profound. Humans are wired to want consistency inside. We like it when our beliefs and actions all line up nicely, makes us feel coherent. So when that consistency breaks down, when you get that dissonance, it feels bad. Psychologically uncomfortable. And because it feels bad, we're motivated, strongly motivated, to reduce that feeling. We might rationalize, deny things, or sometimes actually change our behavior or beliefs to get back to that internal harmony.
That drive for harmony, yeah, that's powerful. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This dissonance isn't rare. It happens all the time. Like, you can see it with conflicting beliefs. Someone knows deep down smoking is bad for me, but
But they smoke every day. Big clash right there.
or that mismatch between what you say you value and what you do. I really care about the environment, someone might say.
Yet they fly multiple times a year, maybe drive a gas guzzler.
Exactly. And it's not just big moral stuff either. It can be as simple as choosing between two things you wanted, like two jobs or two phones. That little flicker of, did I pick the right one? That's buyer's remorse, another form of dissonance.
Yeah, and what's fascinating truly is how our minds handle that discomfort. The source points to four main strategies we use. First, maybe the most surprising, we might actually change our beliefs. So the smoker might start thinking, well, maybe smoking isn't quite as bad as they say, or my grandpa smoked till he was 90.
Rationalizing it away, basically.
Kind of. Or, second, you could change the behavior. This is often the hardest, right? Okay, that's it, I'll quit smoking.
The direct route.
The direct route. Third, you can add new thoughts or cognitions to make the inconsistency seem less bad. Like, sure, I smoke, but I do it to manage my stress, and hey, stress is bad for you too.
Finding a balancing factor.
Exactly. And fourth, you could just trivialize the conflict, make it seem unimportant. You only live once. Life's short. It's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's really telling how often we go for tweaking our thoughts rather than the harder work of changing our actions.
That point really hits home, doesn't it? Changing minds over actions. And there are some classic experiments that show this so vividly. Let's talk about the big one. Festinger and Carl Smith, 1959. You remember this?
Oh yeah, the boring task study.
Exactly. They had people do this incredibly dull task, like turning pegs on a board for an hour. Mind-numbing stuff. Then, afterward, they asked them to tell the next person waiting that the task was actually really fun and interesting. Basically, to lie.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah, the payment. Some got paid just $1 for telling this lie. Others got paid $20, which was decent money back then.
And the results were just,
Yeah.
wow. The group paid only $1. They experienced way more dissonance.
Why? Because $1 wasn't really a good enough reason to lie, was it?
Exactly. It wasn't enough external justification. So to reduce that really uncomfortable feeling of, I just lied for practically nothing, they actually changed their own attitude.
Yeah.
They convinced themselves genuinely that the boring task hadn't been so bad after all. Maybe it was kind of interesting in a way.
Whoa, so they shifted their belief to match their action.
Precisely. But the $20 group, they feel fine. They were like, yeah, I lied, but hey, $20 is $20. They had plenty of external justification. So they didn't need to change their internal belief. They still thought the task was dull. So the big takeaway is, when you don't have a good outside reason for doing something that conflicts with your beliefs, you're much more likely to change your inside belief to make it all fit together. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often are we doing that kind of mental juggling without even realizing it?
It's kind of unsettling, but yeah, incredibly powerful. And another place you see this all the time, I bet you felt this, is post-decision dissonance. You finally choose between two cars you liked or two universities or whatever, and then what happens?
You start focusing on all the good things about your choice.
Right. And you conveniently start downplaying the good things about the one you didn't choose. You amplify the positives of your decision.
You almost rewrite history a little bit in your head to feel better about the choice you made. It reduces that what-if feeling.
Exactly. And you see this exploited in marketing, in politics.
Hmm.
People dig their heels in after they commit, partly to manage that dissonance.
And connecting this back to everyday life, these mechanisms are everywhere. Take smoking again. The core tension. Smoking is harmful versus I smoke. The dissonance is clear. I'm hurting myself knowingly. So people might rationalize, it helps me relax. Denial. My uncle smoked, lived forever. Or, the tough one, they actually quit. That'll change the behavior.
Or think about climate change. That's a huge area for this. Many people believe, yes, global warming is serious, it's a threat, but their actions might be, driving long distances, flying a lot.
Big dissonance there. So how do they cope?
While some might buy carbon offsets, maybe feel like that balances it out.
Or share articles online, activism light perhaps.
Right. Or maybe they start to downplay the severity. Is it really that bad? The science isn't fully settled. Anything to reduce that uncomfortable clash between belief and behavior.
And one more. Ethical consumerism. This is a tricky one for lots of people. The belief might be sweatshops are terrible, exploiting workers is wrong. But the behavior, I buy cheap clothes from fast fashion brands.
Because it's affordable, it's convenient, it's trendy.
Exactly. So the resolution often involves thoughts like, well, my individual purchase doesn't really make a difference anyway.
Or focusing purely on the price and style, kind of pushing the ethical concern to the background.
Yeah, compartmentalizing. It highlights how awareness without easy solutions can really ramp up the need to reduce that dissonance somehow.
So stepping back, what about the bigger picture? Beyond just us individuals, you mentioned social movements earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Cognitive dissonance can be, and often is, used as a tool by activists. Think about it. They often work by highlighting the inconsistencies in society or between what people say they value, like fairness, justice, equality, and the reality of situations like racial inequality or animal cruelty that people might passively accept.
So they're deliberately creating dissonance in people.
You could say that. By pointing out that gap, you believe in fairness, yet this unfair thing is happening and you're not acting. They create that internal discomfort.
And the hope is that the discomfort motivates people to change their attitude, or better yet, change their behavior, to take action.
Exactly. It's a way to leverage that internal drive for consistency, to push for social change. It can be very effective, though sometimes uncomfortable for people experiencing it.
Wow. So it's not just about our personal quirks, it's woven into social dynamics too.
It really is. The psychological significance is just huge. Think about all the areas it touches. Moral decisions, how we justify choices that might be ethically gray. Habit formation, why it's so hard to break bad habits that conflict with our goals.
Identity.
Identity construction, definitely. Maintaining a consistent self-image. Social influence, persuasion, why some messages land and others don't.
Yeah.
Even in therapy, understanding dissonance can be key to helping people change unhelpful attitudes or behaviors. It's pretty much everywhere in our psychological landscape.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, cognitive dissonance really shines a light on this deep, deep human need for our inner world to make sense, for things to be consistent. It explains so much, doesn't it? From tiny everyday justifications, oh, I'll start the diet tomorrow, right up to wrestling with huge moral questions.
Absolutely. And the key thing, I think, isn't to feel bad about experiencing dissonance. We all do, it's human. But recognizing it when it happens in your own head, in your own actions. That awareness is really the first step. It's a step towards maybe understanding yourself better, maybe growing, maybe living with a bit more integrity between your values and your actions. It points the way.
So maybe something for you to think about as you go from here. What inconsistencies are you noticing now in your own life after listening to this? What might that little bit of mental friction be trying to tell you about your beliefs, your actions, or maybe the values you really hold dear?